What's up, y'all? This is Chico. Welcome back to another one of my concepts. Today we're here to talk about why school is easy. Growing up, I was always that one kid who never studied but always got an A on a test. Every once in a while I'd get a B and feel shit about it because my parents were kind of strict about my grades, but 9 times out of 10 I'd be getting A's. As a kid I always wondered how people even got C's or D's. Part of me thought, how the hell their parents let that shit slide? But another part of me thought, how do you fuck up that badly? To me, anything below a B was basically failing, and this is due to my parents being strict about my grades. Though there were a few times I studied, it was usually right before a test, and I had to refresh my memory on the unit. So for those wondering, if I had strict parents, but I never studied for a test, how the hell did I end up as an A and B student? The first thing I did was just pay attention in class. Yeah, you thought I was gonna pull up some fucking cool ass technique or a study from 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago or some shit by a scientist. Nah, genuinely, the first thing you have to do, aside from actually going to school, is actually just to pay attention in class. This means no phones, no naps, no fucking around, no daydreaming while class is going on. This might sound obvious, but the amount of people I see who complain about school and how it's too hard and do this shit is crazy. And if this is you, I got a question. How do you expect to learn anything in school if you can't do the first basic step of just paying attention in class? If your excuse is that it's too boring or you hate the class, grow the fuck up, please. You gotta understand that life is gonna have its challenges and it's your job to deal with them. If you just give up and bullshit around every time there's a challenge in life, you're never gonna get anywhere in life. Small and seemingly harmless habits like these end up building into bigger problems later in life. It's basically just a snowball effect that you won't notice until later. So just pay attention in class and you'll learn infinitely more than you would have just fucking around all the time. Of course, just paying attention isn't the only thing you have to do. You need a way to retain that information you just learned. You're not going to remember everything you saw in that day's lesson. So that brings me to my next step, taking notes. This, along with the next step, are the two most vital things you need to do in school. Taking notes allows you to better understand the material at hand. Research shows that taking notes significantly improves learning and retaining information, leading to a better understanding of concepts and academic performance. However, there are still people who do take notes and still struggle, and this is most likely because they don't know how to take good notes. Though taking notes in class is extremely important, knowing how to take them is just as important. A lot of people struggle with taking notes because they don't know how to take them properly. They just write down everything on the board or on the textbook without actually trying to process the information. This can lead to overwhelming and useless notes. Instead of mindlessly copying the source or whatever, focus on summarizing key concepts, identifying main ideas, and using shorthand or diagrams or whatever you need to do to make the information easier to review later. Ultimately though, your notes should be yours. They should make sense for you. They don't need to be formal or match someone else's style. They just need to be in a format that works for you. And if you miss something, don't hesitate to ask the teacher to go back. Though taking notes is helpful and sets a foundation for understanding the information, being able to apply it is equally, if not more important. This is where we get into our next step. Do your homework. This step and the next two steps are probably the three things people struggle with the most. People hate doing homework because it's boring and it feels like a chore, and I understand that, and I feel the same way too sometimes. But this is one of those things in life where you have to do something that sucks for the greater good. You can make homework a little bit more tolerable by putting on music or some background noise that doesn't distract you in any way. You can also place yourself in an environment that minimizes distractions so you can focus on getting your homework done. Doing your homework allows you to apply the knowledge you just learned, which helps you better understand the material, along with retaining the information you just learned. Though sometimes it can be hard, like math homework for example, finding ways to help your understanding of the material will make homework a lot more tolerable. Asking for help is a great way to get your homework done, but it doesn't allow you to do it yourself and therefore not apply the knowledge you just learned. Though this doesn't mean you can't ask for help, it does mean you shouldn't do it all the time, though it depends on the type of help you're getting too. Sometimes the help is doing the work for you, and other times it's more like a guide that helps you do most of it on your own. Though there are other ways of getting help with your homework. You can look at videos that do similar problems to learn how the process works and then apply that same process to your own homework. This is what I usually do whenever I'm stuck on something. Also, if you're able to, ask the teacher for help, though depending on the teacher, this will also help you understand the material. A good teacher guides you through a problem step by step and allows you to ask questions along the way so that you can understand what's going on. This is something that not a lot of people do, and because of that, they're missing out on a lot of potential learning. I won't pretend I don't understand why people do this, because I'm guilty of it too. For one reason or another, we don't ask the teacher for help, even though it's doing us more harm than good. As students, if we want to understand the material better, we need to ask questions during and outside of class and also participate in lessons so that we can understand the material better. Conveniently, this leads me into my next point, participating in class. A lot of people don't participate in class for a multitude of reasons, but I feel like the most common reasons are that people are too shy, too embarrassed, too awkward because no one else is raising their hand, or being scared of getting something wrong in front of the class. Most, if not all of us, have probably had at least one of these feelings before and use it as an excuse to not participate in class. This mental prison we put ourselves in is preventing us from learning and, as a result, making us struggle in school when we really shouldn't be. We need to get over ourselves and just do the simple thing of just raising our hands. We need to ask questions or attempt to answer questions so that we can learn. We shouldn't be afraid of answering incorrectly because mistakes is how we learn. Anyone who thinks you're stupid for getting something wrong is actually the stupid one. Unlike them, you actually had the balls to participate in class and actively try to learn so that you can improve your understanding of the material. I feel like a lot of people are afraid of making mistakes, and as a result, they try to stay in their comfort zone so that they don't have to worry about making mistakes. But without leaving your comfort zone, how are you going to learn or experience new things? I won't go any further into this because this is probably a topic for another video, but I will say this though. You're not going to get everything right on your first try. You're going to make mistakes, but it's your job to learn from your mistakes so that you can improve. This applies to everything, not just school. Whether it's just you learning how to ride a bike, learning how to drive, or learning how to knit, you're going to make mistakes along the way. But you have to be able to bounce back from your mistakes and learn from them so that you don't do the same thing again and so that you can keep improving. For this last step, it's not something that you should do, it's more like something you shouldn't do, and you'll see why in a second. If you really want to retain the information you learned in school and make school easier, don't cheat. I know some people might brush this off as obvious or pointless, but I promise you it's important. I won't lie and act like I've never cheated. Shit, I still do. But that doesn't make it right. And it definitely does not mean you should too. You might think, why listen to a hypocrite? And that's a perfectly fair point. But what I'm still saying still holds value. And if you want to succeed academically, cheating is just a shortcut to a small win. Whether it's on a homework or a project or a test, right? It might help you in the moment, but in the long run, it will hurt you. It will very much hurt you, and I promise you that. That said, I know most people won't stop cheating altogether just because I said so, right? I know for a fact I wouldn't because I'm a little shit. So instead of saying never cheat, I'll say this instead. Minimize cheating. The less you rely on it, the more you'll actually learn, and that's what really matters. Also, if you do cheat, be smart about it, because I know a lot of people who are dog shit, like absolutely dog shit at cheating, and that's why they get caught, or that's why they struggle in school, because they don't actually bother learning the material. Learn the material so that you can cheat better and be more likely to get away with it. Basically, if you're gonna do something stupid, then at least be smart about it. In the end of the day, to summarize everything, right? Just pay attention in class, take notes, do your homework, participate in class, and don't cheat or minimize cheating, whichever one you prefer to do. I already know you guys will probably choose the second one, but hopefully someone does the first one. You never know. Anyway, that's really about it. Those 5 easy steps. That will carry you through all of school, whether you're in middle school or high school, college. I don't have a fucking clue. I'm gonna start college next semester, well, next year I mean. So we'll see how that goes. Follow those 5 steps and you'll be straight. Post video Chico here. I know this is getting a little long, so I'm not gonna say too much. I'll try to keep it brief. Thank you guys for 300 subscribers. That was really nice to see. That put a real big smile on my face. I was showing it off to a bunch of my friends. Yeah, that's really cool. So thank you guys for that. And along with 1,000 views on my last video. So that was also really cool. Outside of that, there ain't too much to say actually. So I guess shout out to Stargirl B for the art. We'll see when she finishes. By the time of recording this video, she hasn't finished, but that's okay because I only asked her like a week ago, I'm gonna be honest, or maybe like a week and a half. I don't fucking know. Anyway, yeah, shout out to her, go support her, and that's about it. See y'all next time. Bye.